Welcome to Deal Shredders.
We are your hosts, David and Greg.
We are local Nashville investors, cash buyers, and real estate agents who love to analyze your deals.
Grant, how's your week been, buddy?
Where do you want to start?
Oh, I had a feeling it was going to start something like this.
We'll start with all these resolutions that Metro Council is trying to slam down our throats at the moment, or where do you want to start? You want to start
with your backgrounds. Tell us about the backgrounds. It looks like you're really, you're ready for action.
I had to step up my game. If I'm going to be taken seriously with my rants, my background needs to reflect the seriousness of the rant. And so today I've chosen art as a background. Art from Bill Neal, who's a local artist here in Nashville. And if you like modern art, you like Bill Neal.
It looks good. It's like, is it like plaster or something?
Man, it's all kinds of stuff. He's a mixed media artist. He got all kinds of stuff. Like, he's not famous yet, so his art is affordable. So I don't look at it as an investment like I'm an art collector, but man, it feels good to have like a couple of pieces of nice art that you can afford in your house.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what that is. That's art.
Speaking of affordable, go ahead. Oh, but speaking of affordable, I would love to hit on impact fees because affordable housing is going out the window.
I knew this was coming.
All right. So, like, the 10,000-foot view picture here is that the state of Tennessee made laws years ago that made impact fees basically illegal in the state of Tennessee. Williamson County levied a massive school impact fee that has been fought for the last 2.5 years by the Home Builders Association and 7 different developers. That went through court, went through the appellate court system twice, and they did, I say they, the Williamson County government has prevailed currently and is going through another appeal process right now where they're collecting, they've got over $8 million sitting in an account that they're not able to access. And so Davidson County, in all of their infinite wisdom, has decided to do 3 things to the real estate community this year. Number one, it's a reassessment year. So every 4 years, they reassess taxes and to a new present day value. Over the last 4 years, your taxes have not been reassessed. They'll be reassessed this year. Your property value will probably raise anywhere between 25 to 35%, maybe more. The last time they did a reassessment, it averaged 37%. You can't tell me over the last 4 years properties haven't gone up in value tremendously. So already there's going to be a big reassessment. And then you've got Mayor Cooper, who has decided that reassessment is not going to be enough to dig us out of the hole. We need to raise the actual tax rate. And so original news that came out was it's going to be a modest tax rate, and then it was going to be a substantial tax rate. And now if you look on the Tennessee and other places, they will say at least a 20% tax hike, and that's on the rate in which they multiply by the assessed value in order to determine what your taxes are. So I think it's going to be closer to 25 to 30%, not the 20%. That's put the toe in the water, Nashville. Things are going to be fine number. And then when they hit you with the 28%, you're like, oh, that was close to 20. I saw that coming. So anyway, so that's 2 things. And now there are members of the Metro Council who want to now also put a tax onto real estate developers and builders. Don't we
already have sidewalk fees that are a tax? I
should say another tax on real estate developers. That's $1,500 per residential unit, $5,000 per commercial unit, payable when you get your building permit. While $1,500 doesn't seem like a lot, if you look at what builders are already paying, you look at
what is this fee for? What is it for?
So 60% of it goes to schools, which we all love.
Right. Well, that's where it goes. But like, I mean, what is this fee even for?
Well, okay, it's early in its infancy. It was just proposed under a resolution. We just got a first look at it yesterday.
Gotcha.
They say 60% is to be used for schools in order to improve them, and 40% are to be used for capital improvements like roads and other things and whatnot. But it's a very specific tax that's very targeted towards an industry that's about to get hit by an avalanche, a tsunami, a giant EF47 tornado of the economy. And so these three things are going to converge at one point and generally wipe out everything that was a semblance of affordability. If you want affordable housing, man, you are going to have to really get subsidies from government now. No developer is going to be able to afford to give you affordable housing. It ain't happening.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Dave, I'm sure you could agree to that for sure. I mean, you do a lot more building than I do. I mean, what do you think?
Well, and something that Grant didn't mention that I already got hit with at the beginning of this year was they also tripled metro fees, water taps, and sewage fees. So like the multi-build that I'm doing right now in Old Hickory, I think all of our water tap fees and sewer tap fees are going to be something like $5,000 or $6,000 for all 6 houses. And they ended up tripling them. I think we spent a little over $15,000, close to $16,000 for just all those fees. So
it's not even talking about sidewalk fees too.
Yeah, thankfully this project didn't have sidewalks. But if you're an infill in downtown urban core and you got sidewalk fees, you got triple like water tap fees, and then now NES on all HPRs is basically requiring a pole to be put in and that's like $5,000 to $7,000 right there. And then we start talking about impact.
My project is also 3 weeks waiting for a pole.
Yeah. So, and we've been waiting on a pole on one project for like over 2 months. So then we start talking about added holding cost. And then we also start talking about inventory getting smaller. Like I made the comment yesterday, kind of on your post when you were talking about impact fees. Like if people think Nashville is expensive now, like just wait. Because building is only going to get more expensive if the city starts doing all this extra legislation, and housing never gets cheaper with red tape.
No.
The time to try to increase is in a time of prosperity, right? Like general economic principle is if you want to do the least harm, you charge the most when the most is available, if you will. And so 4 years ago would have been a really good time to start to introduce an incremental increase in the tax rate, right? But at the time, you had a mayor who was more concerned about passing a $5 to $7 billion transportation bill, cleaning up the balance sheet to make it look like there's not a lot of debt. So all those GO bonds that built the Music City Center just kept pushing those off. Then you get Briley in place, and he's just like, what the fuck is happening on this balance sheet? The guy was a deer in the headlights. He didn't have a prayer. Like he inherited the dirty sheet ever. And so Cooper ran on cleaning up metro government. And that's what he's going to do come hell or high water. It's just situational awareness of what's happening with the economy or what's going to be happening in the economy doesn't seem to be there at the moment.
Yeah, and it's putting a lot of weight on the private developer right now.
God's right, but you guys are rich, right? You're sitting in your $47 million house with your staff of 3 at the moment, and developers don't ever put it all on the line. Like you play with funny money. It's like monopoly money. You'll never go bankrupt. What the heck are they thinking?
Yeah. Well, the question becomes like, okay, so if private development slows down, like what do you think happens with housing inventory?
Oh, man. So artificially speaking, there's going to be it's going to go in cycle, right? The first thing that's going to happen is that inventory is going to start to lag on the market. So what is out there will start lagging and it'll start looking like you have some type of imbalance in the marketplace. It'll become a buyer's market. Almost, you'll feel like it happened overnight. You'll be like, how did this happen? And then the opposite will occur, right? Then you've got these low interest rates. People decide, now's a good time to buy. they buy, and then if you don't have any new product on the market, and this is years down the road, this isn't over a matter of months, but over a period of years, then you'll have this artificial situation where now there's going to be an artificial price increase in the marketplace that's also not sustainable. So it creates these artificial bubbles and doesn't really normalize the market. The market should do this. It shouldn't go,
well, even on the dirt side of it, because now you have all these projects that people intend to do. Now, what are you going to do with all those? Same thing there.
Man, owning dirt's not going to be an exciting thing.
Yeah, right.
No. Well, because getting financing on it right now is going to be so ridiculously hard. I mean, unless you're just sitting really cash pretty, like banks are not wanting to dump a ton of money in bigger projects.
Especially if they're not taking on new borrowers, especially for new construction. That I know for sure.
Yeah, if you've never developed before, you ain't going to get a loan right now.
Right.
So no more new developers, just the established guys. Yeah, just the big guys are going to be able to weather the storm. The little guys, which makes up 60% of the developers and builders out there, are the little guys. They're the ones that are going to be pounded by this thing. And it's not the big guys. GBT is not going to stop building, power centers. And neither is HG Hill. There's going to be plenty of sprouts popping up all over Nashville. But man, like the little guys who are doing 2 or 4 a year, it's going to be tough for you guys.
Right. Well, and also, like something we haven't really talked about is, okay, so we have an assessment and the taxes go up, which you touched on, Grant.
Right.
So there's going to be people that are paying higher taxes, and some of those people now are going to be like, I can't stay in this area anymore, because there's a lot of areas still in town where people own their properties free and clear.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are older too that are not getting income too, and obviously we all know that there is some type of relief for that if you're 62. But then,
but what I guess I'm getting at, Greg, is with taxes increasing, like that's going to have some negative impact on people who lived in areas for a long time. On top of that, with impact fees and metro fees and sidewalks going up, the private developer does not want to take on that extra risk. So they either buy at deeper margins. So what ends up happening is like the city thinks that these fees and taxes are good for increasing revenue, but they inadvertently decrease property values for land and development in the short term, because until the market kind of like takes a breath and developers see that it's absorbing the inventory, until it stabilizes, everybody's like, no, I got to get a great deal. Like I need to buy something at 65 cents on the dollar. I'm not buying 75 cents on the dollar anymore.
Right, but they don't know that people don't realize that it's arbitrary. It's like, where is that dollar even landing? It's right now when the market's moving like this, the numbers don't really exist until it stabilizes and they actually have value.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's gentrification by taxation. That's the unintended consequence here, is it will continue to gentrify neighborhoods in which people do not historically have high income levels. So, those folks are going to be pushed out, or they'll have to take advantage of some type of tax deferment system, which again doesn't help the city of Nashville. So they can't do a bunch of tax deferments because they need the taxes to pay this $200 to $300 million deficit that's been created. So if I'm a city commissioner, I'm figuring out how to increase revenues too. And I'm probably looking at taxes to see if that's a viable option. But man, I'm also trying to probably deregulate some businesses in order to make it easier. Like one of the resolutions that's really interesting to look at comes from a very unlikely council person who wants to relax the 100-foot rule for establishments that sell liquor, right? Same commissioner, same Metro Council person who is as anti short-term rental Airbnb as there is. Non-owner occupieds are the devil. However, establishments that sell liquor, let's move those closer to schools, parks, daycares.
Yeah.
Right, because it's Airbnbs that are causing problems. Alcohol never causes any problems.
So that's an interesting resolution, right? The whole idea there is make it easier for these businesses to generate revenue. And so they're starting with ones that I would not have thought that they would have started with. But the super interesting thing is when they relax the rule for to-go alcohol, we haven't seen a real big abuse of to-go alcohol. And is that something that can stick around? Is that something that maybe gets confined to Second Avenue and Broadway? Do we turn into a Beale Street? You know, do we turn into New Orleans Light? I don't know. Do we get strip clubs up there on the second floor of bars that don't have anything up? What's going to happen? Like, how is this going to work?
Yeah. Dude, I don't know.
So there is somebody just came into our meeting. His name is Jeff. I don't know what Jeff wants, but should we admit him and see if he needs to, who this person is, to add him to the conversation?
Better make sure that Jeff knows how to rant properly.
Well, let's see who Jeff is first.
I'm all for it. I like surprise guests.
Here we go.
Jeff?
Hey, Jeff.
He also believes in art. Santa Claus art.
Yep. Hello? Jeff, can you hear us, sir? I don't know.
I think he might have his microphone muted.
Oh, he's out. Oh,
No!
whoops. Wrong meeting.
Jeff was like, this is a work meeting.
Sorry, honey. All
It
right.
looked like he sells a lot of insurance by the look of his office.
Yeah, he was in.
I really wanted to talk to Jeff. I felt like I was going to learn something.
For
Yeah.
sure. Well, okay. Well, I guess we learned that people could come on our thing. Anyway.
Come back, Jeff.
Do we have any questions on Facebook?
I don't know if it's a great question, guys, because I have a good 5 minutes before I got to roll out of here.
Okay.
I'm just glad that, Grant, how are you feeling? Do you feel like you got it off your chest? Are you feeling like you're like, everybody's finally getting it? Do you feel like everybody's getting it?
Man, like, I woke up today and I realized that the divide in this country is as wide as it's ever been. It's as polarized as it's ever been. People have completely forgotten how to debate each other without defaulting to insults and to straight into the gutter.
Because we don't agree.
Right. Like, I posted something that was an opinion, and the first comment back was, "You must have a small penis." And I wrote back, like, one, how did you know? And two, it doesn't have any relevance to my opinion. Like, it's unbelievable.
Not everything matters.
Jeez.
Man.
I'm assuming, were you posting something about the virus?
No, it was actually about economics. And so I was making an economic theory analysis point that the recovery was not going to be an instantaneous V curve, and that and it wouldn't be on the same slope up and down. It's going to be a V curve, but it's going to be a very flat recovery, unless we get hit by something else. Like, we forget, like, we're as vulnerable as we've ever been to anything. Right. So let's say another terrorist gets a great idea and blows some shit up. Like, wow, how in the world
close to, like, you're like always on the line of being a catastrophe. You're either all the way up and everything, or catastrophe. There's no like mitigation. People are just so not there.
Best analysis I've heard is your Link in Legend of Zelda. And yes, this is the nerd side coming out. But your Link in Legend of Zelda, and you're down to your very last half of a heart. That's where we're at right now. And, you know, one more major blow and, you know, it's game over unless you're cheating and you have the ultimate lives on. So, yeah, like, it's a little bit scary to be sitting in this precarious position and then to hear this sort of elitist opinion that, no, we're going to be fine. We're going to come back. It's going to be great. You know, stay on your couch. Don't spread the disease. Everyone is equal. We all have our part to do. You know, Netflix and chill. They don't understand economics. Like, they understand they don't want to die, and I don't want to die either. But man, they don't understand how the world works.
No, they just acted. They act in fear. Everybody's just scared. They don't know what to do. They need to be told what to do. They need to be directed.
I do love how we've all learned about epidemiology. You know, I had an online conversation with someone about immunoglobulin G, M, and A, and man, like, how fun is that? Like, it's nice to learn some new shit and not have to always talk about real estate.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when it has to do with the pandemic that's going on right now.
Man, yeah, I've learned a lot from a lot of different people right now. One of them is a Vanderbilt epidemiologist who likes to get online and Facebook fight. And I enjoy that. And I say fight, it's really debate. But that's a lot of fun to be able to do that. When could you have ever said that you would have had a credentialed, Vanderbilt epidemiologist with a degree from Stanford that you could get into a discussion about immunoglobulins and antibodies and all that stuff? Like,
just whenever.
That's something I would have thought I would have done before, but I've been really enjoying that conversation.
Well,
it's not real estate related.
Next time we can talk about that, we'll go over what you learned on that.
Yeah, let me leave this on a positive note now, because Grant Hammond is not always ranting. So I read a wonderful article in a real estate publication called The Close. And if you don't read The Close, it is a very interesting, upbeat look. They have an article that they posted on the 27th called The 21 Hidden Opportunities for Realtors Under Quarantine. Go read that and just implement 3 or 4 of those suggestions, and you will change your business for the better when you come out of this thing. Really smart, easy suggestions to help you wade back into becoming a true real estate professional. And I have to remind myself of those things because I get lost in epidemiology conversations online and macroeconomics. And, it lets me bring my inner statistical nerd out and I'll use some of my college education for something. But read that article. If you're a real estate practitioner, read that article, 21 Hidden Opportunities for Realtors Under Quarantine, in the Close.
You mind putting that in the comments? What is it?
It's 21 Hidden Opportunities for Realtors Under Quarantine. And it's in a publication called The Close. And it's really simple, really smart things. Make a as soon as this passes plan with every one of your clients. Call your clients and make a plan. As soon as this passes,
right,
here's what we're doing.
Yep.
That's super easy to do. Or, now's the time to go request a review from all of your past clients. One by one, go call them and say, listen, would you mind giving me a Google review? Or give me a Zillow review so that I can, beat the machine at its own process. Just really easy stuff in there. Like, I really like this one. It'll never happen for me. Archive your email, your inbox to 0. So go through all of your emails that you haven't gone through and sorted and archive it to 0.
Mine's always at 0, unless there's if it's something that I'm working on.
Bro, you are the exception to the rule. You are definitely not the rule.
I usually have maybe 2 or 3 that's I need to make sure it's in front of me.
Yeah. Or build out all of your social media profiles. When's the last time you went and into LinkedIn and put in all of your stuff in LinkedIn and put in all the projects you're working on?
Go to your Google, make sure all your Google business is updated is a big one people are not doing. And right now, making sure you're getting online reviews on your Google business is going to kind of oversee the Zillow leads very soon.
Yeah. I like this one too. Create an email drip sequence you've been dreaming of. So everyone talks about having a process and a system and a drip and all that kind of stuff. Go create the one of your dreams, man. You've got 30 days to have written the best copy of your life. You could have Shakespeare'd the crap out of that thing.
Well, also, it's for me, I've been going into my systems and organizing my database. I've been finally wanting to do. Making sure everybody's contact information is up to date and everything is full, and writing down the people I should probably talk to. And I'm reaching out to these people I haven't talked to 2, 3, 4, 5 years, just hey, what's, how have you been? How could I help you right now in this?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. There's just very simple things in there that we all think about doing, but we forget about, in times like this. And when you're too busy, you can't do all that stuff. But if you just take those tips and implement one a day, by the time we roll out of this thing, you are going to be a better practitioner, more prepared, cast a wider net, be a smarter individual, be better at your craft. That's that kind of stuff, right? You can get on endless Zoom calls.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. I like to listen. Yeah, listen to real estate podcasts. So you're out walking, just listen to some random podcasts and hear what other agents are doing in their marketplace that you may be able to adapt into your marketplace.
Grant, what is your podcast?
I'm not plugging my podcast.
Oh,
You have to find it.
why would you know?
The real estate experts, right?
You have to find it.
Isn't that what it is, Grant? Real
Yeah.
estate
People need
experts.
to start recording videos and putting out content of like what their opinion of what is going on with anything they want, even not real estate related.
And be careful about those because they live forever, right? And so if all of your videos are about your cat and all the crazy things your cat has done during quarantine, and you've hashtagged cat quarantine 100 times, be careful that all of your clients might not be cat people. Like they may look at you and go, this person cares more about cat than real estate. I'm going to move on to the next person who cares a little bit more about real estate. So keep your content curated. Like we're all guilty of posting memes and stuff right now because it feels good to laugh. And so be your authentic self, but don't forget that you have an audience at all times. You know, it's the same thing you got to tell a high school kid when they get into high school. Don't post stupid crap because the college recruiters are going to look at that stuff. Yeah. Same thing with real estate. Don't post stupid crap. Post fun stuff, funny stuff.
Just pretend that everybody that you don't think is going to see it is going to see it.
Yeah, that's right.
Everybody's going to see it. Pretend everybody you know is going to see everything that you ever put out.
Yeah, that's right. Like I have clients that will scroll through my Facebook or scroll through my blogs that I've written over the years.
Oh, yeah.
And then engage me in a conversation about that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And more of your long-term clients are going to do that. So it's an interview process, right? So go get that stuff right in a time like now. Go learn a new skill, you know, take a class, all that kind of stuff. And when you come out of this thing, be ready to hustle because, man, it's going to be a hustle.
Yeah. And there's going to be, not everybody is going to make it through. Oh.
They're not.
Just had somebody else sign on. Victor Jerrigan. Does anybody know a Victor Jerrigan?
Dude, you have like the craziest Zoom meetings. Like you got random people that want to get on here. You better make sure it's not porn.
Yeah, well, didn't we got spammed a few weeks ago? Remember this, Grant?
Yeah, but this is all password protected, so okay.
So how are they just like putting in random ID numbers? You know what I mean?
I would have to check and see. You know, honestly, I didn't read the post. I just posted it. Colleen created it for me, and I just hit copy and paste it. So I have to go back and look and see what we got going on. Looks like
there's probably some Asurion project manager who's like, why are these guys hijacking our corporate feed in order to talk about real estate?
You know, I don't think I know this person. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we know Victor. Victor, thank you. If we are wrong, we will schedule you on the next show. Get with me, okay? But guys, seriously, it's 12:30. I gotta run. I have to be somewhere at 1. It was wonderful to hang out with you guys.
Yep. Grant, thanks for being here, man. It's good to talk with you. Good to hear from you.
As always.
Sure. Good to hear all about your rants, man.
I think Grant is frozen.
Am I frozen?
You're back. You're back. Okay. David, I will see you when we talk to Mike Brady on Deal Shredders episode 12 on Friday.
Yeah, guys, tune in for Friday. Hear about Mike Brady, the industry, and what's going on with hard money and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, Brady's a good listen, man. He's a good guy.
It's going to be a good one.
Cool.
See you, fellas.
Later.